What is everybody? Daniel Rocks 08 back here in video. 1998 year in review continues with WCW's The Great American Bash. Quite a lot of stuff to talk about. So Sting, whose side is he on? He has a lot of choices here. Is he with the Wolfpac? Is he with Hollywood? Is he staying in WCW? Who knows? You know, it's funny. What about the Flock, though? You know, that was never proposed to him. Raven could have gave him a Flock shirt or one of those, you know, maybe a Nirvana shirt or whatever the fuck. Sting a part of the Flock. Of course, you have Raven and you have the Crow. Sting, that'd be cool. But a flock of crows is called a murder. Kind of weird. So would it be just called the Stinger's Murder? Who knows? Anyways, whose side is he on? Well, on June 1st episode of Nitro, he chose the Wolfpac. And him, along with Lex Luger, are now in the Wolfpac. And so it's going to be Sting, one half of the WCW Tag Team Champs, taking on his tag team partner, the Giant, for the WCW Tag Team Champions. The winner gets both tag team titles, and they then get to decide who their partners will be. The Giant decided that Disciple would be his partner, but we don't know who Sting will be his partner. You would think it'd be Lex Luger, but we will have to find out until Nitro, after the show. There's also the best of 7 between Benoit and Booker T. Benoit is up. Benoit, all he had to do was pin Booker T. Out comes Bret Hart. He knocks Booker T down with the steel chair shot. And Benoit, instead of pinning Booker T, he tells the referee Bret Hart interfered and it's a disqualification. So Booker T is awarded this series. However, on Thunder, Booker T declined this DQ that was awarded to him, and J.J. Dillon threw the 7th match out. So, in the opening match, we will have Booker T versus Chris Benoit in a number 1 contenders match for the television title in their 8th match. Some other stuff going on. Randy Savage and Roddy Piper, they cannot trust each other. And after their big tag team match against NWO Hollywood's Hollywood Hogan and Bret Hart, they will face off in a fight immediately following said match. Anyways, you also have Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko. The Cruiserweight Championship is now held up because Chris Jericho... See, here's the thing. Chris Jericho is not going to face Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight Championship because he's a conspiracy victim. He should still be the Cruiserweight Champion. And Dean Malenko still wants to face Chris Jericho because he still has a whole lot of shit going on with him. Still a lot of heat. But Chris Jericho's not going to face him. So, the title is withheld. And the winner of their battle here is the Cruiserweight Champion. Okay, so let's start it off. We have the 8th match, that's right, of the best of 7 series. Booker T defeats Chris Benoit and wins the 8th match. And this is just a very good match. A very good match. Very good match. 8 out of 10. And their best of 7 series, well, it went to the 8th match. And now Booker T, just like how he did at Super Brawl, will have to wrestle 2 matches in a row. Or, well, not 2 matches in a row, but 2 matches on the show, as he is now battling Fit Finlay for the television championship. Next up, Canyon and Saturn win at it as the Flock intervene. Not much to talk about. I'm just going to go right through it, 4.5. Okay, another fine match right here. Chris Jericho defeats Dean Malenko via disqualification. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in this match. This match is just fantastic. Jericho said, "You're nothing like your dead father." And Malenko goes crazy. Hits him right in the back. Right in his back of the shoulders with the steel chair. Just waffles with the steel chair over Chris Jericho. Then the match is thrown out. Chris Jericho wins via disqualification. We don't know if he wins the Cruiserweight Championship, so we would have to find that out on Nitro later on the show, after the show. Anyways, they battle in the backstage, they battle in the hallways, they battle in the bathrooms, the women's bathroom more per se. They battle in the parking lot, and then Chris Jericho escapes Dean Malenko's. He escaped from Dean Malenko by crossing the street, almost gets ran over. He had to play a little bit of Frogger, and then he makes his rendezvous through a building on the across the street. Very, very fun match. Very, very good between these two. An 8 out of 10. And it is presumed, since he won via disqualification, that Chris Jericho is the Cruiserweight Champion, but he is not awarded the title just quite yet. Juventud de Guerrera defeats Reese of Ravens Flock when Van Hammer helps Juventud with the victory. This is a terrible match, a 1 out of 10. They very much hype that Reese is like 7'2", 420 pounds, and Juventud's like 5'8" or whatever, 180 pounds or something like that. It's the biggest differential when you consider height and weight in a match. Bad match though. Next up, Chavo Guerrero defeats Eddie Guerrero in a very fun match, a 7 out of 10. These two have been. Chavo Guerrero has been smacked around by Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero's been trying to play up like he doesn't want to face Chavo, and he's trying to beg Chavo not to face him. You don't want to do this, but Chavo is so fucking red hot in this match. It's pretty good. But a lot of times his anger gets the best of him, and Eddie takes advantage every single time. This is a fine match, a 7 out of 10. Next up, Booker T defeats Fit Finlay, and having yet another stellar performance and another fine pay-per-view. Just like Super Brawl, how he had to retain his television championship in 2 matches, this time he does the same. He takes down Chris Benoit, wins the 8th match of the series in a fun match to get this contendership match against Finlay, and this time around, with a very much hurting left leg, he defeats Fit Finlay in a fine match. A 7 out of 10. The psychology, the story, the crowd gets behind Booker T. It's all right. It's all right there for Booker T. You can tell by the time. I always thought Booker T should have won the world title in 1999, not late 2000, but I digress. Once again, Booker T has yet another stellar performance, just like Super Brawl, right here at the Great American Bash. He is the new World Television title holder. 7 out of 10. Goldberg defeats NWO Wolfpac member Conan to retain his United States title. Headed in, he is 99-0. Last time he was 88-0. I guess I can buy that. He defeats Conan in very convincing fashion. Basically a squash match, a 4 out of 10, because Goldberg is so red hot with the fans, it's incredible. It's unbelievable how fucking incredible Goldberg's run is. And by the time I get to the Bash of the Beach, he is the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Goldberg defeats him and retains his United States Championship. He was supposed to face Curt Hennig, but Curt Hennig was hurting. Or so we thought. Curt Hennig and Rick Rude turn on Conan, turn on the NWO Wolfpac, and they join NWO Hollywood once again. 100-0. By the time he gets to defeat Hulk Hogan, he would be 108-0 on the July 6th episode of Nitro, about 1 month later. Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan defeat Randy Savage and Roddy Piper in a fine match, a 6 out of 10. Savage and Piper, their rivalry building up to this match, they can't trust each other. They have to put away all their differences and be friends, or at least be coherent with each other and at least coexist with each other and form some sort of alliance to take down Bret Hart and Hollywood Hogan of the NWO Hollywood team. You also have the Disciple out there making things worse for Savage and Piper, and Savage and Piper can't trust each other. So obvious, Bret Hart and Hollywood Hogan wins this match. 6 out of 10. Right afterwards, Roddy Piper and Randy Savage, they have this big-ass brawl. Randy Savage is very much hurting. His left leg is hurting very badly. He does try to go for an elbow drop in the previous match. Falls off because he just cannot stand properly. Randy Savage, there's very few characters like him. He is amazing. He really was amazing. And so was Piper. It's really hard watching these two guys because they're both gone. Can't really rate this. It's just a brawl. Piper with the figure 4 and Savage being as hurt as he is, he can no longer take the pain. And Piper wins. Savage being a part of the NWO Wolfpac, he gets a lot of sympathy from the crowd, and man, the energy that Savage has is just amazing. And in the main event, Sting defeats the Giant to win both tag team championships in a very fine match, a 6 out of 10. Sting now guarding the red and the black, and he has much more character, and he is talking and he's smiling. And you can actually tell Sting actually looks happy, because around this time period, before this actually, he was in a very tough situation. He was very much heavy in the drugs, and just like a lot of wrestlers, he found God over the summer of 1998, and Sting would turn a corner. This may not be the best and most favorable Sting persona, the Wolfpac Sting. However, as term as Sting himself is with his personality, with his character, as far as he is with his soul, he has find inner peace. He is one with God. And just like a lot of wrestlers who find God, he is doing quite well for himself in the summer of 1998, even though not a whole lot of people are too fond of Wolfpac Sting. Fun match, 6 out of 10. Overall, the Great American Bash 1998, it's probably the best Great American Bash. Well, 1989 is, but this is a fine second. A fine pay-per-view overall, a 6.4 out of 10. WCW is going into the Georgia Dome. 41,000 people are going to be there, July 6, 1998, and they witness Goldberg defeat Hollywood Hogan to become the WCW champion, become 108-0, and he will become the top star when we get to the Bash at the Beach. But there's still a whole lot more stuff I got to talk about, because not only do you have Hollywood Hogan losing the title to Goldberg, but he also gets in a rivalry with Diamond Dallas Page. Dennis Rodman comes back, and Carlo Malone from the Utah Jazz, they get into the fix. And at Bash the Beach, we get ourselves a wrestling and NBA affair for the ages, where it's Carlo Malone and Diamond Dallas Page taking on Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman in a, well, at least it was a big time main event and gives WCW their biggest buy rate since Starrcade 97. And for WWF, it will be the King of the Ring, where I get to talk about my favorite match of all time, the Hell in a Cell between Undertaker and Mankind. This is a fine show, one of the finest pay-per-views you're going to watch on the WWE Network on WCW pay-per-views. I'm DanielRock08, and I'll catch you next time for the King of the Ring. Goodbye.